Hey guys, Artosis here, bringing you some more of the CNSL Season 6. Right now we're in the second round of 4 match. This is a best of 7 between Beast, who's currently leading 1-0 in the top right of Retro. And in the bottom right we have Motive. At game number 1, if that is what this series is going to be like, it is going to be a ridiculously awesome series. Just a great game that we had on Sylphid. Really felt very, very close. I think Motive just kind of messed up a little bit there at the end, which allowed it to end. But what can you do? It's tough, man. There's a lot of decisions to make through the course of a StarCraft game. I want to thank you guys, because there's a lot of decisions to make what you want to watch on YouTube. And you've shown yourselves to be amongst the greatest people in the world watching StarCraft 1 Pro games, because truly, there is nothing more exciting than this. Thank you for subscribing to ArtosisCasts if you have already. If you have not, I really suggest that you go ahead and do so. I do release a new pro game every single day. I don't know how many we have on here right now, but I'm going to guess we're nearing 1,000 games on the channel. So yeah, hope that you guys are enjoying, and thank you very much for checking it out. Now, we're on Retro here for map number 2, okay? Motive going for a very quick scout. And yeah, let's see. Well, the timing of this looks like it's going to be a Forge, honestly. Yeah, there it is. So he's decided to go for a Forge fast expansion as opposed to, you know, the Zealot pressure that we've seen previously. Now, there is the possibility that he tries a cannon rush here. There are 2 probes out scouting, so that can end up lending itself to a cannon rush. Let's see. It is a hatchery first. So, I mean, if you're going to cannon rush, this is the time. This is the place. A drone comes down and actually gets on top of that probe immediately. Honestly, the way the probe is moving, it looks like he wants to cannon rush here. And this could be a fast and furious game. Oh, he cancels right away. Ah, there you go. So puts one down, blocks the drone from coming this direction, throws another one down. Now, this position, you can put a cannon here, and you can actually pop the probe out by making a geyser. Okay, so kind of an interesting thing. He puts the pylon down, so there's nowhere to really stand for the drone. He couldn't build anything else as of yet, and he throws, oh god, that's bad. That's real bad. Looks excellent right now for Beast. He's putting some damage onto this cannon. Cannon gonna have a very hard time of things. Another probe coming in. Like, look, this cannon, you can tell it's going to just barely finish, but like 2 lings will be able to come in and kill it off. Now, he puts down another wall in the back, tries another cannon here as well. Very interesting to see. And in fact, double cannon's gonna go down. Opens this back up and goes into the front. Are we gonna see another cannon? Can he fit one here? All right, kills off that one drone, and he is putting damage on the creep colony as well. So immediately, we're going to see Beast go ahead and morph that. Don't forget, this loses 100 health automatically upon finishing. So this will die from 1 hit as soon as it finishes. And in fact, he cancels it off because of that. All right. The Zergling's actually getting on top of this. One Sunken hitting over here. Oh my god. I think he has enough lings to just barely break through. Oh god. If that one runs away, maybe not. Hold on. This cannon gets very, very low and does get picked off. So it looks like he ends up holding. Now, 1 drone died, a lot of lings were made, and 2 Sunkens were made. You can see he actually kills that off because that's just going to be in the way. It's not really going to be that useful for how many minerals it's going to slow down mining. So don't mind that at all. Okay, so where are we at in this game? Very quickly, Beast is trying to drone up to catch up in that regard. But when you cannon rush and it does not end up killing the hatchery, that's a little bit painful, especially when you think about, right? Pylon, pylon, canceled pylon, cannon, 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 right? So that is 450, 550, and then cancel and cancel. So that's 600 minerals gone, plus 2 probes. Okay, so that's a big investment. Was that enough for, you know, the 1 drone killed, and then 2 more drones for these 2, plus the 2... plus the creep, plus the Sunken, plus the amount of lings, right? Like, who's actually winning right now? I actually don't know 100% on this. This is actually a hard one to judge, being as I am not a Zerg or Protoss player. Sometimes you look at a position like this and you just kind of know who's winning from playing a bunch of games that look similar to it. But that is a very quick layer. The Nexus now is done. He's sending quite a few probes down. It has been a pretty significant probe advantage for a while here. Obviously, he was on only 9 drones for a long time to defend that cannon rush. And now a Zealot going out across the map. Going to get some scouting done. Going to maybe put a little bit of pressure on. Obviously, with this sunken, it can't do anything in this area. So this Zealot is just kind of like confirming a third base and maybe forcing some Lings to defend that third base as well. 2 Lings actually come out and see that Zealot right away. Yeah, it looks like he already has enough Zerglings out here. Let's see what Motive can get done with this Zealot. Like, is he going to be able to trade it reasonably? He looks like he's running back maybe to try to meet up with another one, but Zerglings are a bit faster, so it's really hard to get that done. And, yeah, gonna kill that pretty darn quickly, losing very, very little. Like, 1 Zergling goes down. Spire on the way here for Beast. Second cannon coming up. Sends this Zealot back so he can make that solid wall so Zerglings cannot run through. The first Corsair is on the way, as well as the Citadel. So it's a pretty quick Citadel, and the Corsair, of course, going to be able to get a scout off and see that it's a Spire. Now, is it going to be Mutalisks is going to be one of the big questions. And the thing is, Zerg doesn't have to show you whether or not it's going to be Mutalisks until they push the Corsairs away. Right? This is like something that's been quite mapped out at this point, where, like, once upon a time, like a few years ago, I remember, you know, it would just, a lot of times when you saw Zergs go for Spire and intend on Mutalisks, they get that second gas pretty quickly. Nowadays, it feels much more rare, and in fact, he's hiding his second gas here. So seeing the second gas this quickly, we know he's going to go for Mutas, but we don't know if the Corsair will be able to scout that. Now, 4 Speedlings run in. That's incredibly painful. That is incredibly painful to have to deal with. 4 Speedlings can deal a lot of damage. Now, the Corsair is out. We'll see where that ends up flying to and what it can end up scouting. But yeah, once the Scourge are out, you have to be very careful with that Corsair. Now, this is some good micro on the probes, but hold on. Loses 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 probes go down to those 4 Lings. Very good trade there by Beast. Now, the Corsair going up, when this sees the secondary gas, I think that that's really going to show him. Okay, he does have the 2 Corsairs right now. I think if you look at this, you're pretty darn sure that Mutas are coming. And in fact, we can see, of course, Flying Carapace is on the way. So definitely that is what Beast has planned at the moment. More Lings coming down towards that front. We already have a 3rd Corsair out at this point. Photon Cannon to kind of help guard that general area of the Stargate. You know, this... Does it range to there? I'm not so sure. You have to be careful because you can place 2 Scourge here and just kill the Corsair as it pops out and there's no counterplay. A lot of times you'll see a cannon that's within range of exactly this spot because that's where the Corsair pops out, right? So you need something that stops Scourge from sitting. Sends this over to the side. You do see some Scourge flying around chasing some of these Corsairs. Some very quick and fanciful splitting going down. He really wants to get this pass. It's a little bit difficult to do. Looks like the Scourge going to try to head this off. Oh, God. Oh, God. He just wants to kill that Overlord so badly. And does a nice flick shot there to get it. Will he be able to keep the Corsair alive? You know, the Scourge can catch Corsairs over time, but if you move them around a lot, the Scourge have a hard time changing direction, especially if they're just right-clicked. So that's one trick you can do. He does end up losing it, but he's killed a couple of Overlords, and, you know, I think he's done all right with them so far. Now, the Mutas are out, right? We have 5 there, 5 in, well, a lot more being made as well. In fact, he's on 3 gas. That's kind of wild, isn't it? Waiting for that Carapace upgrade, perhaps? Another cannon going up. The Corsair is kind of sitting back at home, being, you know, gathered together. Zealot legs look to be finished, as well as that +1, so he can do very well fighting against Zerglings. Maybe run around if the Mutalisks come for an attack. He can counterattack with Zealots, because the Mutas are really what you're utilizing right now to block any Zealot attacks, as Zerglings will get eaten alive. But there is a little bit of a transition started, right? We have speed for Hydras, as well as that +1 missile attack, so we are definitely going to see a switch into Hydras at some point. But I love this double sunken. This is a big nod towards the fact that he wants to attack with his Mutalisks, so he needs some static D to prevent the Zealots from really dealing a ton of damage. Now, an Archon being made, this is kind of a common tactic that we used to see quite often. Or, in fact, we still do see quite often against Mutalisk openers, where you go, like, 1 to 2 Archons with your Zealots, and then you bring the Corsairs, and you kind of do a great job there. See, the Archon comes in, it does splash damage, it does a huge amount of damage as well. And against those 3 cannons, the Archon coming up, the Corsairs coming over. Beast does decide to turn around. Right now, he has 16 Scourge with this army, and a lot of Mutalisks as well, all with that +1 carapace. So this is kind of a... This is a game that's a little bit on a knife's edge. This army is extremely explosive, but the splash damage is real for Protoss. So if you get the right engagement, you could suddenly kill all the Corsairs and then micro-well with the Mutas against the Archons and just win the game. But at the same time, if you screw any of that up, the splash damage will just massacre everything you have. So high risk, high reward. Maybe it shouldn't be said exactly that. It's like more skill than anything, but it's like a very hard skill to pull off. Now the Corsair's coming out, trying to put some damage down. You can see that Archon trying to get some hits here as well. Okay, 1 Scourge hits. The Scourge turn around. Look at that. He's dodging even the Archon hits like perfectly. They're having a really hard time getting any volleys off. 0 kills on both of them right now. Does have that +1 attack as well, which really does help. 1-shot Scourge. A lot of Hydras being made. Overlord speed as well. There is a DT out on the map. Third base being taken here by Motive. Damn, I tell you, these two really a good matchup between them. It feels like, oh no, the Scourge. Okay, they get one of the Corsairs, and he actually does dodge there for a moment. This is a very high stress situation again, right? He clicks off like a few of them and gets another one, actually. It's been good Scourge connections, but the Mutas haven't actually gotten that much done yet. Mutas flying over towards this third base location. Gonna get rid of that probe and trying to zone out the Corsairs. Dealing a lot of damage here to these Zealots, and he will decide to turn around a little bit. Oh, sends them in, and they get absolutely destroyed. So now the Mutas, they're gonna have a harder time. You don't need to waste them or anything. I think it's good to keep them alive. You might see these Corsairs die at some point. You might be able to support these with the Hydras a bit. You may be able to divert attention with the Mutas at some point. And there are some more Scourge being made as well. So still a lot of options there for Beast, who, by the way, has so many Hydras right now. You can see once again his macro. He actually has higher army supply. And don't forget, Protoss Gateway units, like everything here is 2. Archons are 4. Okay? These are all 1. Every Hydralisk is 1. Scourge are half a supply. Mutas are 2. So, like, when you see these types of supplies, it's a much bigger army for Beast here. A lot of this should come down to Psystorm. In fact, dives in, gets rid of a big energy High Templar. That's really painful. Turns the Scourge around, gets another one of these Corsairs. More cannons are being warped in. He does have more High Templars here as well. Kind of an interesting location. The Hydra's going to run in here. There are no cannons to help out, but he does have some Psystorm. So let's see if he can get those big, juicy hits off. Throws one down. It honestly doesn't do that well. He's taking some significant damage on some of these Zealots also. Hydra's turning around, defending the Overlord. Third base is up. 3 base against 3 base right now. Needs to be mentioned. This is putting some pretty heavy pressure, I think, onto Beast. He takes his 4th base. He does have some Lurkers out. He's making a lot of Hydras right now. Oh, God. I didn't even realize he has drops. Big, big moment here. What's in here defensively? 3 cannons. All the units are out here. And this is... that's hard to get through, right? Like, that's going to slow units down coming in. This is a massive drop, guys. This could end up... like, maybe winning the game, honestly. Like, he is going to kill a lot before you can respond. Now, look, starting to come back. Everything kind of getting stuck on each other. Got to grab the units that are rallying out. Look at this Dragoon blocking everything. Okay, moves it back in. So, pretty good unit controller. He's getting his army up pretty quickly, but that's going to be a big chunk of his economy that's going to be blown up by these Lurkers oh so quickly. The Corsairs coming in. They do kill a bunch of Overlords, but you need Psystorms here. Where are those Psystorms? Oh, another attack from the front. Oh my God, 2 big attacks here. Psystorms going off on both sides. Definitely Beast losing a lot of units, but this is not an efficient cleanup that we see occurring. Now, another attack, this one that was at the front, goes after the third base while still there are lurkers to clean up. He has the Observer. He has a lot of Dragoons, so that can be killed, but if he loses this Nexus, that's basically 2 bases killed. He lost all of his probes in that main base as well. A lot of damage being dealt here at that third base. Oof. That was too much. GG, and we're going to see a 2-0 lead right now from Beast.